Dehydration and winter, they go together so well like peanut butter and chocolate, or chocolate and caramel. Whichever one's your favorite, it goes together like that. I think I like the caramel better. But anyways, I digress, right? Winter is the perfect storm of conditions to make your skin dry, tight, parched, probably also oily on top. It's super confusing, right? Winter just makes dehydration go off the charts for so many people. So I thought it would actually be a really good idea to do a video of all of my tips, my tricks, my techniques, all my product recommendations to fight dehydration in the winter time. And by the way, this is going to be a winter-centric video, but this is still going to work for you in summertime, in springtime. So many of the things that I'm going to talk about are going to be for seasons for you if you're suffering from dehydration. So you know the drill. Give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. So let's talk bedtime, because this is actually a very crucial time to be fighting dehydration. Now, there's a couple of different things that we do, some habits, but also products and tools that we can add into our nighttime routine to really fight that dehydration. Because let's face it, nighttime, we are super, super vulnerable to transepidermal water loss. And really, one of the number one reasons that is dry air. Now, in wintertime, when it is cold, when it is icy, there is nothing better than coming in from the bitter cold into a warm and cozy house, right? I love to crank that heating up, you know what I mean? Reasonably so, but I do like my house to be warm. I'm a person who gets very cold, and turning the heating up feels really, really comforting. Except all that forced air from heating can really dry the air out in your home and in your bedroom, right? It can make a very arid environment, which makes losing water through your skin very easy. So what's the remedy for dry air? Humidifiers. Humidifiers are essential. Putting a humidifier on at night has made a huge difference in my life and in my hydration level. So this is definitely something beyond just your skincare routine that you can do to really ensure that your skin stays hydrated. So let's talk sleeping packs, because this can be a really helpful way to protect your skin as you're sleeping. Now, I like to do my skincare routine just a little bit before I get into bed. The reason that I like to do this is I like to give myself just a little bit of time to sort of assess what's going on with my skin after I've completed my routine, because sometimes we just don't quite get it right, and the routine that we performed actually isn't quite enough for our skin. We might still be feeling that little twinge of dehydration or that twinge of dryness on our skin. And so right when I get into bed, I like to assess how my skin is feeling, and that is when I decide if I'm going to go in for a sleeping pack. This helps me in a couple of ways. Number one, it gets me in tune with what my skin is telling me, which helps me adjust my skincare routine down the road. But also it allows me to not overlayer or overload my skin. I'm not just going to slap this sleeping pack onto my face because I think I need it. I'm going to wait and see if I truly do, because I don't want to overwhelm my skin. So this can be a really good method for you guys to take on, just kind of like checking in with your skin just a little bit after doing your routine before you head in for your sleeping packs. So I leave them right here by my bedside so I don't have to get out of bed to go and get them, because hey, the easier you can make skincare, the more likely you are to perform it, right? So these are actually two of my favorite. First one is the Purito Dermide Cica Barrier Sleeping Pack. This is a great creamy and moisturizing sleeping pack. It's got ceramides in it. It's got Cica, centella in it. It doesn't layer on heavy or greasy or sticky. So I'm actually really impressed with the texture of this, just because so many other creamy, moisturizing sleeping packs are very heavy and greasy, and this one really isn't. The Cosrx Ultimate Moisturizing Honey Overnight Mask, a little bit more of like a gel type texture. This is 87, I needed a hint, 87% propolis extract in here. So those of you who love your propolis, this has got a lot in it. So really nice lightweight texture, creates that really nice protective feeling on the skin, but again, because it's that lighter weight gel texture, it is more breathable. It it has occlusivity, but it doesn't feel oppressive on the skin. So I do have one other little goodie on this shelf that I want to talk about, the Skin Analyzer. So this tool reads your skin's oil and water balance. Very easy to use. You just hold it right up to your skin, and then it'll beep when it's ready, and you'll get your reading right away. So let me tell you how I use this. Now, I do use this right before I go to bed. That's why it's right next to my bed. What I like to do is actually read my skin's levels right before I go to sleep. Now, this basically gives me a baseline reading of how my skin is right after I've done my routine, right? It's probably going to be very juicy and plump and hydrated. It's going to be in the green, right? When you have your baseline from when you go to bed at night to when you wake up in the morning, this tells you how much hydration you've lost throughout the night. This is really invaluable information because this is actually telling you in real time how bad your dehydration is, right? Maybe it's just a little bit and maybe it's a lot. Now, I like to kind of keep this habit up because this actually starts to tell you when you add that new cream into your routine. How does that affect your dehydration levels? When you get your new humidifier and you start running that every single night, how did that affect your dehydration levels? What's the difference between using a sleeping pack and not using a sleeping pack, or using this sleeping pack versus that one? This is when this guy starts to become like, it starts to unlock so much information for how those products and habits are behaving for us. And that's why I really like this. It's fine that it's not super accurate, but this information that it gives us is so good. Okay, so location change. Now we're in the bathroom because I want to talk about some of the stuff that happens in here. Well, you know what I mean. I want to talk about cleansing. Yeah. Now, cleansing, you've heard me say it before. It is one of the easiest ways to strip moisture from your skin. Yeah, cleansing can definitely strip moisture. And when you're dealing with dehydration, you need every ounce of moisture. What little you have on your skin, you need it. One of the ones that made the biggest difference for me was actually to stop using a cleanser in the morning time. Just washing my face with water has made a huge difference in my morning hydration levels. It's allowed my skin to balance itself out over time. I just recommend that you guys try it out, see how your skin responds to it, but ditching your cleanser in the morning is definitely one way to preserve moisture on your skin. Another way to go in a lot gentler with your cleansing process is to ditch that high pH cleanser. High pH cleansers do not respect your skin's pH level, which is slightly acidic. It's about 5.5, and we need a cleanser that respects us. When you maintain your skin's pH level at 5.5, all kinds of wonderful things happen, like moisture preservation, barrier preservation. Your moisture barrier actually works better to protect you against outside irritants, including acne, and it also lessens inflammation on the skin as well. So respect your skin. Switch over to a low pH cleanser if you haven't already. Here's some recommendations: the Krave Matcha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser, the Heimish All Clean Green Foam, the by Wishtrend Green Tea and Enzyme Powder Wash. We definitely cannot ignore showering. What? We have to be afraid of showering now too? Well, you don't have to be afraid of showering, but you do need to be aware of what hot water can do to your skin, which is strip it of moisture. So definitely, I would never really want to recommend that you take a cold shower, especially in cold wintertime. I definitely can't do it. But if you can get the temperature of that water down just a little bit so it's not so steaming hot, that is one good step. But there's actually another step that my cold self has actually found to work really well than just taking a lukewarm shower, which I can't stand. So what I actually like to do is apply a wash-off mask onto my face before I get into the shower. Yeah, this is actually a really great barrier that you're creating on your skin that protects you from the steam and the heat that is very likely to pull hydration out of your skin, helps protect you from the spray. Plus, you are killing two birds with one stone, right? I mean, you're getting clean in the shower and you're maximizing that time by doing a mask. I also personally find that when you put a wash-off mask on before you get into the shower, you're naturally going to avoid right? Getting the water straight onto your face until the very end. So that actually helps not only protect your skin by creating a barrier, but it also just is that physical reminder to keep your face away from the hot and stripping water. I really particularly love the I'm from Mugwort wash off mask. This mask is got such great cling. It doesn't drip or melt down in the shower, which is excellent. Some masks can be too loose, right? Too runny, too drippy. Once you get into the shower, they run into your eye and it stings really bad. So I actually really like this one a lot. Plus, it's got lots of good mugwort in it, which is very calming. It reduces redness. And honestly, who doesn't need redness reduction and calming when you're dealing with a lot of dehydration in winter? So one of the good ways to kind of like protect yourself between that like weird time when you're out of the shower but you're not ready to do your skincare routine, one of my favorite ways to do is just grab a mist. This is a fabulous way to just create a little bit of hydration and a little bit of protection on your skin. I really like the Klairs Fundamental Ampoule Mist. This one is great because it is lightweight and hydrating, but there is a little bit of body to this mist that actually kind of helps hug hydration into your skin, but it's still light enough for you to layer on your other toners and serums on top of it once you're ready to do your skincare routine. So here we are at my vanity because I want to start talking about your skincare routine and products. And when it comes to dehydration, it really is a two-prong approach when it comes to building your products. Yes, you need to treat your dehydration with hydration, but you also have to protect your skin and prevent dehydration, right? So it is a two-prong approach. It's not just about loading on all the hydrating products. But let's talk about hydrating the skin first, because this is really essential, especially when you first start your skincare routine. Right after washing your face, you gotta rehydrate that skin. One of my favorite products to do this is obviously gonna be a toner. These are really lightweight, they're watery, and really the key here is they're easy to layer up. You can layer this up to 7 times, and for the most part, your skin's really not gonna feel heavy or thick or greasy because watery toners absorb really deeply, really easily without weight. And so they're actually the ideal product to layer up. It's just about what your skin needs in the moment. So pat it on, see how your skin feels, and then maybe pat on some more. So I think that toners are really the best product for hydrating your skin. But I do believe that essences can be a great addition to your toner to boost the results. Now, I do like to perform a method called a hydration sandwich. And basically this is just layering on a lot of watery toner and then basically kind of sealing it in, or like putting the bread on your sandwich, so to speak, with a thicker essence. So one of my favorite essences for this particular method is the Pyunkang Essence Toner. The Pyunkang is a thicker, almost like a runny gel texture. So still lightweight, still hydrating, but because it's got a little bit of body to it, it helps to lock down more hydration. So I just layer on one little layer of this right over my couple of layers of toner to create my hydration sandwich. Now there is another type of essence on the market that I think can actually help you. Now this is definitely not necessary, but this can help. And I'm talking about first essences. So confusing. First essences go first, right after cleansing. The essence we just talked about goes after toner. It's confusing, but needless to say, a first essence goes first, and it actually preps your skin for the rest of your skincare routine, while also bringing some other benefits to the party. But the actual act of prepping your skin can boost the hydration benefits of your toner and anything else you put on top of it, because first essences actually help the absorption of your products. And one of my favorite essences to do this is the Missha Time Revolution essence. This one really does help the absorption of your skincare products because it's such a lightweight layer. Now most first essences are going to have fermented ingredients in it, and that's what allows everything to absorb a little bit deeper, but the Missha just feels like really, really thin water on the skin, the lightest weight layer you could probably put on your skin, and this does just kind of help boost everything you put on top of it. However, there are first essences out there that do prep the skin and aid absorption, but unlike the Missha that we just talked about, they've got more body to them and they are actually more hydrating. They are still meant to be put on before your toner, but they bring their own hydration to the party. One of my favorites is the Primera Miracle Seed Essence. This is a hydration bomb. It feels hydrating when you put it on your skin. It boosts the effects of the toner that you put on after it. Not only that, but it also has some great barrier supporting fatty acids in the formula. And as we know, dehydration is linked to your barrier function. So anytime you can get those barrier goodies into your routine, it is a good idea because it's going to help protect you against dehydration. Okay, so I did tell you it is a two-prong approach to building your skincare routine to fight dehydration, right? First, you got to treat your skin with hydration, which we've talked about with all those great techniques and products. But now we need to talk about prevention, preventing dehydration and protecting the skin. And the way you're going to do that is with moisture. Yep, you can't ignore moisture. I mean, I did this for years. I used moisturizing products, but they were like so over here. You know what I mean? They were so not a priority. And once I kind of like changed my thinking to a more balanced approach, right? Oil and water balance. Then I started to realize that, yes, it's balance that your skin craves when you're fighting dehydration. And once you focus on balance, you can achieve balance. And look at that, dehydration is no longer an issue. One of my favorite ones, of course, is the Laneige Cream Skin Refiner. I particularly like the mist version because it just delivers a really nice, light, and even layer of this product, and you really do not need a lot. So I love this little mist right after using my toners and essences. It's just like a nice way to just kind of like bring some nourishment into my skin and start to bring that balance in. Plus, we're layering our skincare from thinnest texture to thickest texture. And that's where we start to kind of create like a bigger sandwich, right? We start to hug that hydration deep into the skin and we start where you're not going to escape. You're not going to escape. We're going to put layers of moisture so that you don't. I can't end this without talking about my favorite moisturizer right now. It's the Illiyoon Ceramide 8.0 Concentrate Cream. This is great because it's got all those barrier supportive ceramides, cholesterol, fatty acids in here. It's got a great texture. It absorbs really quickly. It's non-greasy. It's not super heavy. I would classify this as a medium weight cream. And so this is actually a very protective cream that's not greasy or very heavy and oppressive on the skin. Speaking of ingredients, there's a few that I think that you should definitely keep your eye out for when you're building your dehydration fighting skincare routine. And I can't not talk about ceramides, right? I can't. And you know, a lot of what I'm talking about in today's video is maybe sounding very familiar to you from all of my barrier care videos, but that's because when you have a barrier that's even the slightest bit weak, that's when the dehydration starts to come in because the barrier is not working. So we can't ignore barrier health, right, when it comes to treating dehydration because they're intimately linked. This is very important. And I'm like super embarrassed to admit, but it took me years to like realize that, you know what I mean? I was always treating my dehydration, but I was never really getting down to the source, which is the moisture barrier. Ceramides, cholesterol, fatty acids, excellent. A particular fatty acid, linoleic acid, is beautiful for your moisture barrier, very barrier supportive. You can find that in the Primera Miracle Seed Essence that we talked about, plus it's in a lot of oils, facial oils as well. Another one to look out for, niacinamide. We love niacinamide. Who doesn't love niacinamide, except for people who are sensitive to niacinamide? But generally speaking, it's great for everybody. It brings some brightening benefits to the party, but it also happens to be very barrier supportive. It can actually really help support a healthy moisture barrier function. And niacinamide, it also helps the skin hold on to hydration as well. Another one that I really like is panthenol, and that seems to be popping up in a lot of K-beauty products recently. Doesn't it seem like it? And I mean, I couldn't be more thrilled. Panthenol is fabulous. Now, panthenol acts as a humectant, which means it actually attracts hydration to the skin. But panthenol also has the additional benefit of supporting your skin's lipid layer. And this is so vital to your moisture barrier function and what? Holding hydration and hugging it into the skin. Strong barrier, strong lipid layer, less dehydration, less water loss. So panthenol is a really important one. Now you'll notice that I didn't include hyaluronic acid on that list. And some of you may be curious why that is, because it is one of the most famous humectants out there, right? I mean, I really feel like hyaluronic acid's got such a great, like, well-known reputation. I mean, like, even people who don't like get into skincare know what HA is, right? Yeah, it's definitely very famous and it can be very beneficial. However, this video is called How to Fight Dehydration in Winter, right? And hyaluronic acid is not an ingredient that I can recommend for you guys with this very particular instance in mind. Now, when it comes to a dry environment like winter time, right? If you're dealing with dry air, dry environment, or a lot of forced heating or cooling, hyaluronic acid heavy products, and I'm talking about like a hyaluronic acid 100% serum. That's what I mean when I say heavy. When hyaluronic acid is like one of the only ingredients or the only ingredient in a product, this is where we run into problems because hyaluronic acid depends on humidity in the air to hydrate the skin. In and of itself, hyaluronic acid doesn't add much to our skin. It depends on that environment to pull hydration and plump your skin. But if there isn't any moisture in the air, right, any humidity, and the air is very dry, and you're already suffering from dehydration, hyaluronic acid is actually going to force the little bit of hydration you do have deep in your skin out to the top, and that's where it's going to evaporate. So this is why I don't recommend those types of products for people prone to dehydration in dry environments, not just cold environments, but dry environments. So it's actually not a part of this list. And if you do have like hyaluronic acid 100% serums or heavy hyaluronic acid heavy toners, right? It might be time to just set them aside until the air becomes a little bit more moist. That was a really epic list of tips, wasn't it? But I hope it was helpful because wintertime is really like the perfect storm for making dehydration go off the charts for so many people. So I hope it was timely and I hope it was helpful. And if it was, don't forget to hit the thumbs up before you leave. Now, let me know in the comment box below, what's the one thing that really seems to tip your skin off for dehydration? For me, definitely dry air is really bad. It gets really bad in winter, but you know what? I do get a bit of it in summertime from the air conditioning too. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit subscribe. If you love K-beauty, if you love Korean skincare, I release 2 new videos all about K-beauty every single week. So hit subscribe and don't forget to ring the bell so that you're never out of the loop when the new videos drop. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. I hope you're having a fantastic day and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.